Well, in real time here, it keeps getting snowier and snowier and colder. But we are still not caught up in the Mountain Dream home story, so let's go back to a day in the late summer when we crushed our woodshed with a giant tree.
Only so much I can tell from right here. But that's, I mean, the roots of this is what's holding this cliff together.
It was my second time around selecting trees to be turned into something. With the house, we overshot it as far as we just cut down a lot of trees and knew that we would have enough timber there in order to produce the beams and posts and all the other various framing bits. With this, I think I had a little better idea, how much I could get out of what size log. So we selected just a handful of trees to take down. They were sort of problem trees, leaners and other trees that we thought were going to be a problem later on. And also we were trying to open up light to a couple of areas. So we took down some really big trees this time, and I'm sort of banking on getting several profiles out of each length.
So this is what the kids have called ant tree ever since we moved here. It's mainly because it had large carpenter ants living in it, and probably still does. They were really visible, hauling needles up into the body of the tree from right down below. It's right outside the yurt. It's also a good leaner, so it's probably going to fall down. No telling when. Unless you go ahead and take the initiative and say it's going to fall down today. It's kind of in a tight spot, but it's leaning exactly where we want it to. We want it to fall right in this path, not towards the yurt, not smashing the woodshed that it's right up against, but we'll see. There's not a whole lot of options with this one as far as tricking it to go somewhere else. So
So it didn't fall where I wanted it to, exactly. It went downhill, but it caught the corner of the woodshed and smashed it to bits.
Bye-bye, woodshed.
I know now, what I did wrong as far as how the cut went and why it sort of veered left in the way that it did, but the woodshed was our least favorite building on the property. And I like the way that we've rearranged to accommodate what happened. So in the end, not a huge bummer.
That shed was always kind of temporary and not really in a spot where we want wood in the future. So as much as, again, we hate having to take down things that we've already done, we had to take it down because it wasn't the right thing, and we're moving the wood somewhere else anyway. But it sure was a dramatic way to break down a woodshed with one giant tree. Fortunately, the next few trees were felled perfectly, exactly where we hoped for them. But then there was the problem of the pond tree. Now, this is one we really struggled with whether or not to take down, a huge tree that completely shades our pond. It's leaning pretty severely and has lots of exposed roots. But as we were taking it down, we knew there was a significant chance that it would hit our dam and possibly cause our pond to fail. So nerves were still pretty high as Nick started to cut the pond tree.
Is that where we thought that happened, huh?
Yep.
No, it impacted up there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It went way clear of the dam. That's so huge. Holy crap.
That was perfect, though.
I knew it was gonna snap without a big wedge. It's just I'm nervous about being back there.
Yeah. So look at that light on the pond.
Yeah.
That just happened.
Hey, the duck just watched from right there.
The duck's like, whoa.
What in the world, guys? You guys are crazy. I guess so. I guess we're crazy. What in the world? It looks like mud in the middle of the tree. Which I guess it probably is, right?
Right.
Carried up by
The ants.
the bugs, yeah.
That's a big rotten tree.
I mean, it had a lot of strength to it, but golly, I don't want to tempt it, right?
Right?
'Cause I was just able to reach from that side. I guess if I had actually built a hinge, it would have gone a lot faster, but I felt like if I did that, I would have been on that side too long.
I mean, it landed right where we hoped,
Yeah.
with as little damage as possible over there.
Yeah. I got left some branches behind there.
Well, it topped those two trees.
So we cut down a handful of trees. They were big ones for a few reasons. I need lumber for the shop. It's a partially timber frame building, so I need quite a bit of lumber. But also we're moving them from places where we want to grow things. So we're trying to let in light into areas that haven't seen it before. It's always, I mean, you can see why people don't do this. It's kind of a liability, you know. There's usually some collateral damage of some kind, but also it's just a huge mess to clean up. The tree doesn't just come down and then you move it over there and cut it into boards. There's all the limbs, all the stuff it smashed, and it's a lot of work, but it's a resource that we have, and all it takes is, you know, these and a couple other tools, and we're able to produce some good material. Well, the woodshed's going to be some good firewood.
Yeah.
It's awesome there. That's why we're on the plan.
It's different.
And we should keep it there because it looks like a great day. Here I come. I
Careful,
saw
please.
the eclipse and played with May.
And played with your friend.
What else did I do?
And then you came home, and what did it look like?
I came home and it looked awesome because a bunch of trees were down. And here's one of them.
Good job, honey.
So I guess the next thing you'll see is us doing the first half of the shop foundation. 6 piers in 6 big holes. I'm Nick. Thanks for watching.
I feel it. I feel it. I'm touching it. I'm touching it. I'm going to show it to Daddy. Yeah. Daddy.